All right, tonight on Ship Chasing, our dear friend Crakrok is back in the mix. He's going to join us. We're going to review our main event team we drafted with him. Who knows if he even remembers that team we drafted? We'll find out if he was at Robert Kraft's wedding. We'll also talk Week 10 waivers. We got a Kenny Pickett debate brewing here behind the scenes, all today on Ship Chasing.
Pat Fryer Helmo.
This is why I'm hot.
Anita Handjob.
Fix your sight.
Jamar. Alpha play chase.
Are you kidding me? Kadarius Toney?
You can't handle the heat.
It looks like we're finally at this point. You're right.
All right, Ben Gretsch, Pat Carrain, we're live. How we doing?
Doing good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit sick. Pete, you got that bun in the oven still. Children are just transmitters of viruses.
Of joy? Oh, okay.
I'm constantly sick, man, especially after the pandemic. I think the pandemic just made their immune system suck. They come home sick like every other week. I was not this sick this much as a kid as my kids have been.
Yeah, that does not sound fun. You know, it's like I have so many in my hierarchy of things I'm like worried about or stressed about. I haven't even gotten to like the being sick part. You know, that's like so far down. Yeah. Like I know that's in like the 20th.
Well, also isn't that like later? Isn't that when they go to school and shit?
Yeah. That wasn't a big deal for me in the early years at all. It's once
you
let them out in the world, then oh man, you're screwed.
Sleep is the thing that I'd be worried about.
I'm very worried about that. Yeah.
Not that I have any children, but that would scare me.
Last night on Club Top Shot, Peter Jennings just tells me I just hire a doula for 4 months and it'll be completely fine. Yeah, a night nurse. Yeah.
Why didn't you do that?
Lives in my house.
What did you think of that?
If you guys want to become YouTube members so I can afford a night nurse for
I thought you were gonna say if you guys want to become my doula.
Oh, that too. Yeah, I'm sure everyone in the chat who is debating, James Cook versus Nyheim Hines' value rest of season would be perfectly capable of also taking care of my newborn child.
Maybe you could do like a rotational doula in exchange for like some Q&As,
That's right. It takes a village to raise Pete's child, and that village is the ship chasing community. So yeah, Crakrok's going to join us here in a little bit. Excited to see what he's up to. Our main event team that we drafted with him is actually in pretty nice shape here.
It is actually,
assuming Mark Andrews can get healthy and get rolling again. But how's week 9 for you guys? I know it's so fucking cliche, but I truly can't believe it's week 10. Like it fucking blows my mind.
Oh, I'm into it, man. I'm into it.
You're burned out?
I'm ready for week 13, 14. Bring them on. Bring on the weeks. No, I'm not burned out. I'm actually not burned out. I wrote I've wrote as much of the walkthrough as I ever have to this point. So I'm actually pretty psyched about the progress there. But it's just like I'm worried I am going to get burned out is kind of where I'm at. Like I feel like any moment now I could be burned out.
It's been one of those seasons too. I mean, Pete, the way that I get your feeling, and I think the way that I would articulate it is just that it still feels like we're like just getting out of the preseason a little bit, where like the first 6 or 7 weeks felt like this like extended preseason where nothing was really all that easy to understand around the league. A lot of offenses not scoring points, a lot of teams, doing some weird stuff. It's also been one of those seasons where like, I mean, the hits aren't necessarily hitting for fantasy. I mean, we talked about like the injury stuff, like the Breece Halls and stuff. The Garrett Wilson one is so tilting to me. That guy's an absolute freaking superstar.
He's
I'm
so
stoked about the game that he had this week against the Bills in a game where his team threw 25 times, had 150 yards, and he had 92 of them. But like it's 17 fantasy points. You go look at your fantasy matchup and you're like, oh my God, these like terrible players outscored him. Like you only get so many points for even being like, that's incredible. To go 892 against the Bills when you're the only good receiver and Zach Wilson threw for 150 yards. But, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And it also just is a constant reinforcer of how quickly and how much changes like within the fantasy landscape. Like I tell you right now, we can fast forward to, weeks 14 through 17 or whatever. And the guys that are relevant who are winning leagues, like they're probably not the guys we're talking about right now. It happens every year. And it really crystallized. I posted this in our group chat with Leone. I was looking at our teams, 3 of them here, and I was looking at the records. And so we have this chasing stolen bananas with Sean. We have this this Penta team, of course, with Hassan and Blair, both bad records, 1134, 1151 points. And then we have our Buckeye Boomers team that's 6-3, was off to a really fast start. It's gotten eclipsed in points by these 2 teams. Like our Sean team still could make insane noise if it made the playoffs. But it just goes to show, like, if things don't line up perfectly and the way when these teams are peaking is at completely different times, it's just such a mind fuck.
Well, don't both those teams have ETN?
They do. That's a common denominator.
ETN is about as big a fantasy hit as I can remember. Like that's as, let's hope it sticks, but that's about as clean a cut. I mean, the guy he was with gets traded away. He's been at 80% snaps 3 straight weeks. His efficiency is insane. He's used in the passing game. The offense is like good enough, but also like that sweet spot where they're not like that good of a passing game and they want to run through the running back. It's really perfect.
Yeah, it's been great. It was awesome to see him get 28 carries. You don't think Travis Etienne's going to get 28 carries in a game, but like he didn't have the explosive plays this week and he still ground out 100 yards and 2 rushing TDs. Like, that's not a Travis Etienne line. To your point about the offense, it is the perfect it's the perfect sweet spot where they don't have anything else. And so like even if he's getting stopped a little bit running the ball, it's like, all right, well, we're gonna give it to you 28 times because you're the only thing that's worked all year. Like we're gonna, I mean, not the only thing, but like we're hoping you're gonna hit for something big. And I mean, props to him for grinding out a grinder's rushing line, 28 carries, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like that's dope. His routes this week were at a season high. They were up at like 69%, like a comfortable season high. So hopefully the receiving can even bump up a little bit from where it's been. I mean, yeah, he looks awesome.
What is your guys' take on Lawrence? I haven't heard him like talked about much. I haven't heard people wildly overreacting in either direction about his play. It just seems like everyone's like completely neutral on Trevor Lawrence right now.
I've seen some bust commentary.
Which direction?
Bust. But I think he seems like a not living up to the hype of number 1 overall pick and best quarterback and tank for Lawrence type of player necessarily yet, because he still makes a lot of mistakes. He's had some bad red zone interceptions this year. But he looks like he's, still makes enough plays and looks like, I mean, it feels like he's going to be a sort of a middle of the road starter. There's probably still upside there. There's probably still downside there, but like he's just going to be a good NFL quarterback, not a great one. Like Derek Carr level or something, or I don't know, maybe Matthew Stafford, like somewhere.
That's an interesting comp, yeah, because his accuracy. I've written about him a couple times with like his accuracy was really swinging around in a really wild way. It was interesting. At the time I was like, but Josh Allen's is so like maybe that's. But then Josh Allen started throwing all these horrible picks. So I actually like found something and then diagnosed it wrong. I was like, so maybe it's not a big deal. It was actually a big deal for both. But his success rate, he's 6th this season in success rate. So I was like a little bit optimistic last week. I think the thing that's bad for him is that the Jaguars seem to be shifting a bit toward the run, a bit towards ETN. And so I don't know. I think I'm worried he's going to end up in like one of those situations where the team isn't really like built to maximize him, and it's like from both real life and fantasy purposes, you don't want to be in like a balanced or run first offense because you're never going to be able to like live up to the hype that way. So, and I tend to agree with Ben. I think he's looking like a good quarterback, but not like, I don't think he'll ever be as good as like Burrow, let alone Mahomes.
Yeah. Joe has a good point here. 2,802 being awesome for ETN seems like a double standard. I agree with this. And I talked about this a little bit with Sean Sillimpinez. The way I would articulate it is when you go 4 straight games, averaging at least 6.5 yards per carry in every game with at least 10 carries in all 4 of those games, and you're that explosive every single game, then being able to grind out a 28, 102 line is something that I'm going to say, hey, it's cool to see you can do that too. But obviously that's a line that, like, if, you know, whoever does it, Derrick Henry or something, I don't know. We're like, yeah, this is Najee Harris does that. I'm like, yeah, this guy sucks. He didn't even average 4 yards a carry. Sean also mentioned to me he had a negative 5 yard carry and a negative 6 yard carry. Plays that got blown up in the backfield. He couldn't really do anything with. Obviously, you can't just like take those out of the sample. At the same time, you kind of can because they were just completely destroyed, blown up plays 5 yards deep. If you take him out of the sample, he was like 4.7 yards per carry. The other 26.
But we don't need. We have a big sample in this guy now, and
right.
He ranks 4th in rush yards over expected per attempt, 5th in success rate, 6th in breakaway yards per game, 12th in elusive rating. He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
Like I at this point, I'm convinced he's good. I just want to see new things added. Like if he happened to have a season high in routes, that would be interesting. Oh, he did. Sweet. He gets 28 carries. Didn't think they would ever do that. Sweet. Like I'm not worried if his efficiency falls off in one game, if he's like unlocking a new skill.
It's like now he's a compiler. Okay, that's cool. We'll live with that. Like, you know,
because like one week of down efficiency, I'm not worried. Like, oh no, does he suck now? Like he doesn't suck. He's really good. He's a second year back who's super explosive.
And I see those 28 carries, and you know, because I think in the back of my head there was a little risk in him getting pigeonholed in the way, say, the Cowboys have pigeonholed Tony Pollard, and they're like,
he was drafted to be Kadarius Toney.
right. And so it's like, but the team continues to give us really good signals. You trade away James Robinson, you're willing to give him 20 plus carries. Like they're bought in. They do not have any ETN concerns. Which
also,
is
this is
really
Peterson,
matters.
a guy that we have generally thought of as someone who loves committees, like to a fault, like trying to find a way to put Miles Sanders in a committee or whatever. Like, give me a committee. Like, he doesn't want a committee at all. He's gone full workhorse in a way we've never seen Peterson do.
Yeah. Let's see here. It will be an interesting test this week on the road versus the Chiefs. That is going to be a fun game. It's also the highest over-under game on the main slate this weekend. So that'll be a big opportunity to see what Lawrence and Etienne can do in that matchup. What else is jumping out to you guys? I mean, on the waiver wire this week, I mean, incredibly barren. You know, some guys dropped, a couple Traylon Burks out there, a J.K. Dobbins out there, but anything else jumping out to you guys on this week 10 waiver wire?
It's pretty dry. I think we're spending a lot of money in some spots where we just like want to make sure we get one last good bid in, you know, which I think makes sense. But I don't know. It feels like it feels like inflation has really hit, you know?
Well, and the one thing I noticed with some of our teams is we're entering kind of a quarterback drought for us in that we have some Lamar Jackson teams on bye this week. We have a lot of Kyler teams. He pops up on the injury report with a hamstring. He has a bye in week 13. You know, Deshaun Watson has basically been picked up in all of our leagues already. Like when you're going to try to find that second quarterback or that upside quarterback on the wire right now, even just looking ahead, like there is not a lot out there.
There's nothing anywhere. I mean, we were talking with Leone earlier about the running back position. You can't find, I mean, at this time of year, you feel like you can find some contingency based plays that are a little bit overlooked or like undervalued. They're not really there. I mean, I wrote in Signals this week about Jermichael Hasty. I went and looked, and like he's not available in any league. Like everyone's already on that since the James Robinson trade. I guess that makes sense, but like
people picked up Snoop Connor. We did, you know, and then we had to throw him back. So
because like he's just kind of buried. But there's also not like sure points. Like, and I've seen Rex Burkhead on a couple waiver wires, and there was a point this year where I was like, yeah, that's the guy you're going to be able to start every week, but you can't really start him. Dameon Pierce been running a lot more routes. There's not even like the guys you can pick up to get like 5 to 7 points with anymore.
No, you're looking at like, it's like Raheem Blacksheet or whatever. Yeah. Like when you're scrolling through the best projected running back play for week 10.
Raheem Blacksheet?
But there's always a black sheep in the family.
But like, it made me think back to draft season. Like, I mean, I don't. I mean, some of these teams we built where we drafted a lot of running backs. Like, I want to go back and like if I could go back, knowing that it would look like this, like I'd want even more running backs. It doesn't mean you take them early.
See, I want more receivers. There's so many teams where I'm like, well, we missed on 3 of those receivers, and now the team's screwed.
The team's screwed. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess I was thinking like if you start like 5 straight receivers and hit on all of them, then you could just be good.
Yeah. But it's like it is. Fantasy football is so weird because it's so hard during draft season to envision the upcoming reality of like almost every player I draft is going to suck, and almost every player everyone else drafts is going to suck, and it's really just like getting 4 hits and you're golden. You get 4 hits and you're golden.
Yeah,
and it's like so that I mean, like obviously we're more I think on that in that like mindset than like maybe your average drafter, you know. That's why we tend to like to go like 0 running back here, running back. But like I think it's still something I struggle with thinking like actually comprehending, because you're like, well, we already have like these 3 receivers. We can probably like move off receiver for a second and like, you know what I mean. You don't really have anything. You never have anything.
Well, one of the
like Josh Allen's for real. That's about it.
One of the ones that hit me this week, right in signals, was how everything is played out for Ramondre Stevenson, who you guys were both all over. I was less excited about in draft season. It's been basically the exact upside case, right? Like he has the potential for 3-down workload. I never denied that he has that talent or anything, but I just thought it was going to be too much of a clusterfuck, basically. But the other guys have got hurt, like Ty Montgomery.
They got hurt. He was
James
great.
White's never, ever even playing.
Yeah.
And then Damian Harris gets hurt. And it's exactly the path for Stevenson. And he's been what we thought he was. He's been as promised. He's been a stud. It's worked out exactly the way we talked in August about this is the upside case for
It's a fever dream.
Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fever. But the thing that's so crazy about that that's worth emphasizing is how many other players can you look at? You mentioned ETNs, maybe another one, but like how many other can you look at and point to and be like, we were talking about this exact scenario? Because for all the things we argued all August, like 10% of them happened. Like almost none of them happened, right?
Yeah.
Like we're like we have no idea. We don't.
AJ Brown. AJ Brown's a bit of a fever dream. That's been fun. They're gonna pass more. Hurts is gonna be awesome, and AJ Brown's AJ Brown.
Yeah,
and it actually happened.
Well, one of the things too that's so sick about fantasy football, and there's a tweet I'm going to pull up that reminded me of this, is how you can be right but not actually right. And this plays out in DFS all the time. But this tweet from Eric Eager during the other day, he goes, the Chiefs' best running back by a country mile is McKinnon, but they're naturally afraid he can't last a whole season. So they're messing around with Pacheco and CEH. As we've said before, though, and the snaps reflect it from yesterday, when they need a real running back, he plays. And it's like, you can nail the talent eval on like McKinnon. We've had McKinnon stashed like everywhere. And it's like, you still can barely start him right now. Like,
but wait till the playoff contest.
Yeah, exactly.
FFPC playoff contest.
Yeah, we're gonna put McKinnon in
over Kelsey and Mahomes. Let's go.
No, I don't want the equity in that one.
Seriously,
number 1 scoring running back in the playoffs this year. Here it comes.
Thanks.
Yeah. Actually,
but the other part of the running back thing, real quick to wrap that up, is just again how many bad offenses there are. It has been a weird season in that regard too. Like we're wrong about a lot of stuff, but when I'm looking at these waivers and I'm looking for players and stuff, I'm just reminded that there's a lot of situations where we're just like, we don't want the running backs in those teams because these teams suck. Like there's just been more offenses that look like they wouldn't even pay off for you if you got the injury and you were right on who the backup is. Carolina's a pretty good argument against that in the sense of
they are. Yeah.
Deontay Foreman's actually been able to be productive on a team that looked like it sucked, but there's just a lot of spots where it's like it's not even exciting, you know. But
yeah,
committees and bad offenses. Like Caleb Huntley's available in this league I'm looking at right now, and it's like, he's been pretty good. He can probably get you a few points, but like,
well, do you know what? Like when I look at the waiver wire, and even when we're talking about guys like Odell Beckham or Caleb Huntley, it's like every single one of these guys is like a 2-leg parlay at minimum, right? Where it's like you either need an injury and you need them to be good. You need them to land on the right team and carve out a role. Like they're so like the path to relevance on the waiver with these guys is just Not saying you shouldn't be taking stabs. It's all we have. But, man, the bets seem thin.
Do you guys think that there's going to be – I mean, it feels like a year where you can get a guy from nowhere that produces. And I mean, it's not that I know who that would be, but some years we do have – I mean, the year that both Damian Williams and Justin Jackson had big weeks late.
Yeah.
And I always go back, and it's so old and it dates me, but Nick Goings for the Carolina Panthers in 2005 or something was like the first example that I had of this in my fantasy career where I grabbed this guy. He was like their third stringer, and Deshaun Foster or whoever their starter was got hurt, and he went on a tear for a few weeks and helped me in the playoffs. But this guy never did anything the rest of his whole career. He was like a fullback, but he had a 5-game stretch where he was like an elite fantasy producer. I feel like we're going to get at least one of those this year, but I'd be
funny you mention
going to be
Justin Jackson, because I feel like he's one of the candidates.
He is. Me and Sean are talking about him today. I was going to bring him up if you didn't.
Because Craig Reynolds went to injured reserve, right?
Oh, he did?
Yes, he did. He went to IR.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
we
big.
might want to tack
Reynolds
Justin
was
Jackson on some bids.
Yeah, you're going to slap him on some bids for sure.
I'm going to slap him on some bids right now.
Global waiver alert, just like we do our Swolecast global swap alert. Add Justin Jackson, $1 bids here. Have you guys seen the state of our shot chaser team this week?
Yes, we're literally bidding. What Dusty S wide receiver? It's Hunter Renfro. And I was why are we
don't
doing
reveal
this?
the bid.
I didn't reveal the bid. Oh, sorry, Pete, for revealing a bid. How could I? Whoa, wow, what a betrayal.
I mean, Pat, we normally save that bid for at least 20
I didn't reveal the bid. I just revealed who we're bidding on, which is the whole discussion we're having.
This team is in dire straits. We can't even start McKinnon. I mean, we're discussing McKinnon versus Eno or Najee this week. Our wide receivers, we have Boyd on bye, Mike Williams hurt, Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson on bye, Treylon Burks coming back from IR, Tyquan Thornton, Jacoby bye. I mean, this team in this week is an absolute disaster.
We only have one receiver in the starting line.
We have
the fact that Najee's not even a strong start for this team. I mean, what?
That's amazing.
Najee.
I mean, this is you people. Anytime anyone says to us ship chasers, you guys drafted so many wide receivers. How are you going to know which ones to start? We have one right now. Jesus.
Well, hey, bye week Twitter will come after you for that though, because 5 of our receivers are on bye at the same time.
Yeah,
that's true. 5 here comes bye week.
Well, if you just paid attention to the fucking bye weeks. Oh my God. Are we interested in Jalen Warren? Hell yes, we're interested in Jalen Warren. He's not available in any of our leagues.
Available?
No, he was drafted.
He
was drafted. Yeah. He hasn't been available in any leagues all season unless he was weirdly dropped.
Yes, Elijah Moore has been on bye for 6 weeks. We're dropping Elijah Moore in this league. The rubber has met the Elijah Moore road. Man. I mean, his snaps went up a little bit, right?
Well, they're supposedly going to move him to the slot. I missed the chat for this league, but I kind of want to see how he does in the slot because they're talking about using him in the slot now.
I mean, the problem is we need a defense and a wide receiver, and at this point, I think New England defense is more valuable to this team than Elijah Moore. That's where we're at with Elijah Moore.
I agree with you.
I
mean, talk about a 2-leg, 3-leg parlay. Elijah Moore.
Yeah,
he has to get enough slot snaps. He's not going to just completely take.
Okay, but we're keeping Khalil Shakir because you guys, we've had this back and forth for the last couple of weeks. You guys have said that there's some upside if there's injuries. Number one, Josh Allen's now hurt, but if there's some injuries, he could get enough of a role. But we don't know if he's good. I think we have a decent idea Moore's good and also a better path to him playing. I would probably.
But to me, Shakir is like a 1-leg parlay because I think if if Gabe Davis got hurt, I think he's playing every snap.
But is he good?
I think he's good enough. He looked okay.
Is Joshua Palmer good? He just put up 20 with their entire.
He's a better Joshua Palmer.
Yeah.
I mean, and Shakir looked good, to be clear, but I think he had the one big game. He had 5 targets, 3 catches, 75 yards, and a TD. He had 3 pretty impressive plays, and he has 6 catches on the year. We've all kind of collectively acted like he's done more.
Fair enough. I mean, I've been on the bear side of the Shakir stuff in some of these conversations, mostly when I was trying to keep Sky Moore through the bye. But like, but I mean, the Elijah Moore stuff, I don't even think like if he's good, who cares? Like we just talked about how good Garrett Wilson is, and it's like still not having that much of an impact. Like, doesn't matter if he's good. It just doesn't matter. Like he needs Wilson to get hurt and be good and get playing time again. Like, he's
the Brandon Ayuk of this year, but you're right. It might not pay off because of the Jets. But like, I do think he's going to have a stretch like Ayuk had at the end of last year. Like that's still going to happen. He's not going to go this whole year without playing.
I mean, Ayuk had an awesome stretch at the end of last year. So that bar feels a little high.
Yeah, for the Jets offense, for sure. But in terms of him actually playing and getting more involved in the offense, I actually think it'll be similar.
Before Crakrok joins us here in a second, I do want to just flesh out our Kenny Pickett debate. As I understand it, I think Gretch and I are, I don't want to put words in Gretch's mouth, but we are definitely the Kenny Pickett Bulls, and Pat is the Kenny Pickett Bear. I'm still leaving a candle on for Kenny Pickett. He's my version of Sky Moore this week, Pat. I want to see what he looks like coming out of the bye against a not great defense for the first time. But you're fully out on Kenny Pickett?
I'm not fully out. I just think what he's shown thus far is like gives you really not much reason to be that optimistic. Like I feel like you guys still view him as kind of like a black box, and I view him as like not that much of a black box. I mean, certainly he's still somewhat a black box, but like I just feel like we've gotten some information on him and it's been pretty bad. Like he has 212 plays this season, which is not like a small sample. For last year and stuff, I used 200 as the cutoff to like be included in the sample. So he's already hit that. He's 36th in EPA per play. Ben was pushing back on that because he's had some interceptions that have probably gone against him. He's 25th in success rate though, so that's not great. And then I looked up PFF's grades, and he's 32nd of 39 in their overall grades. So it's like, yeah, it could be somewhat schedule based as you pull this up, but
I mean, this is absolutely brutal. I mean, so brutal. You get one win in there at Tampa Bay. Your one home loss is to the Jets, who are a legit defense.
They're legit. Buffalo's legit.
Miami's the
Tampa's
one you're
whatever.
At Philadelphia. I mean, the point I was bringing up is like how quickly people were ready to crown Carson Wentz as being back after week 1 against the Lions. And people were ready to crown Jared Goff as being a top 8 quarterback because he was crushing at home in juicy matchup. No, but a lot of people were treating those guys. I'm saying Kenny Pickett is in the Jared Goff territory of he can be good in good matchups. Jared Goff would have put up Kenny Pickett numbers through this stretch. I promise you.
I think he can still be a bust. My main argument has been that what he's done so far, it's probably not great, but it also is really hard to use as a significant argument against whatever he's going to ultimately be, because there have been positives. He's moved the ball well. I've written about it in Signals on a couple different weeks where he's gotten some bad breaks, not just on the interception stuff, but I mean, there was one game where Deontay Johnson barely has a toe on the line in the end zone. I think it was his first start where they only scored 3 points against Buffalo. Barely has a toe on the line in the end zone, barely has a toe on the line at like the 2-yard line on a third down that would have been a first down, I think, where then kicked their field goal. Like they could have had multiple touchdowns in that game. He's had some other like completions down inside the 5 that have turned into like rushing plays or whatever. Some of that's going to show up in EPA. But EPA, what I was saying to you, Pat, and I know you understand it, but for the listeners, my argument was it's very outcome-based, and it's not necessarily going to have, in a small sample especially, it's not going to capture who's at fault and stuff. And Kenny Pickett right now has, at one point, had 7 interceptions and only 5 turnover-worthy plays, which, I mean, a lot of quarterbacks, we talk about how they have a ton of turnover-worthy plays. They've gotten sort of lucky because there's a lot of dropped interceptions. Like Josh Allen has 17 turnover-worthy plays. I'm looking at the PFF leaderboard right now. It's probably a little bit fluky for him, but whatever. Pickett had thrown multiple interceptions that weren't even great at turnover-worthy plays, and some of the other ones, I mean, just he's gotten some bad luck so far, and that's going to negatively impact on EPA, but some of the other ones were deflected. Right now, he sits with a 2 touchdown to 8 interception ratio. His numbers look terrible. I'm sure he grades terrible. I feel like he's done a decent job moving the ball, and the offense is like sets up all right for fantasy scoring. So I'm with Pete. We're like in a better matchup, a little bit, some favorable breaks, a little bit better luck. Like he can still have some solid games, I think.
We don't have that small of a sample, which is why I was bringing up the 200 plus plays. Like it's not like a tiny sample that we have on him. Like some of this stuff should be coming out in the wash. Like Andy Dalton had, I think only one of his pick sixes was a turnover worthy play against the Cardinals. And maybe neither. I can't remember. One of them was tipped. But anyway, he's 11th in EPA per play. And this is the adjusted EPA per play that Ben Baldwin has that slightly downweights turnovers actually, which is what I was using for Pickett as well. But I don't know. I guess the thing I'll say for Pickett that is bullish is that he ranks 4th in CPOE, completion percentage over expected, behind Geno Smith, Bailey Zappi, Tua, and then Pickett. He's ahead of Burrow. Burrow's was very accurate last year as well. So that accuracy would indicate that maybe he does have more of a ceiling in good matchups. So I am open to the idea that
it's definitely like a film take for me.
Based.
I don't think I can argue it on the merits of any stats that have been compiled. It's more of like a film thing. And I think he could suck. I wasn't really in on him as a prospect either. I did talk about him as a
that's part of it for me too. Yeah. Not a very good prospect in my opinion.
But I've been a little bit impressed. And also even going back to how he played in the preseason, he had good numbers in the preseason. I mean, like, I guess my argument would be, what would we expect his numbers to be as a rookie taking over midseason, didn't get a ton of first team snaps or reps in practice, in even training camp, but through the first couple weeks of the season, takes over against a brutal gauntlet of a schedule. Like, he's had a low ADOT at times, but you would expect that from a rookie taking over against some of these defenses to like be having to check down a little. He's been accurate. He's shown something. He's shown some mobility even. And like I said, I think he's caught some pretty bad luck as well. So, I mean, it's not like you're expecting a not very good rookie quarterback prospect to be a star. Like, part of it is it's a good setup for him. They can't run the ball particularly well and all those things. But I mean, I think he's shown enough that I don't know. I'm still in on seeing what he has the rest of the way. It's a way easier schedule the rest of the way. It's like top 3 for
I would say. I keep the optimism after this week, guys, because I don't think this is a good matchup for him. I don't really like the Saints have been like kind of good recently against the pass. They obviously shut out the Raiders. I feel like a dink and dunk quarterback is kind of the worst case scenario against the Saints. Like, you want to be able to beat them downfield. They rank pretty well in success rate against the pass. They're worse in EPA against the pass. I feel like big plays, right? And Pickett's downfield throwing has sucked.
Yeah.
His accuracy is pretty good. So if the schedule argument is your thing, I think
it might even
have this argument after this week.
Yeah. It might even be because they get the Bengals after that. But week 12 on, it's fantastic.
Crakrok, go Roman Emperor, Kenny Pickett, yay or nay? Let's see it.
Yeah.
No. Crakrok. You can trust that he's going to be looking at the box scores?
Wow. What's the Pickett take, Crakrok?
Well, I have a lot of Deontay Johnson. Well, we have a lot of Deontay Johnson. So, yeah, he's not been doing it. It's kind of like when these rookies come in and the coaches just don't want to give them too much to, down the field. Look at Zach Wilson. They still have the play calling, toned down just so he doesn't fuck up and make those stupid interceptions like he did against New England last week. And he cut back on that and just let the defense do it for you. So I don't know how they're going to unleash Pickett when he just, when a rookie just doesn't have full command of the offense. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, and my thing is like there was legit risk that Tomlin was going to just redshirt him like this whole year. Like, I think that was within the range of outcomes. So the fact that they already went to him, the fact that they threw him to the wolves with this gauntlet, we're coming out of the bye. There's rumblings that they're gonna demote Najee. They're ready to feature Pickens. I don't know. I'm just like hopeful that we can get a bit of a youth movement here late and that they play a little bit more optimally.
So here's a question. Is he their starter next year? They're 2-6.
I mean, you still don't. I mean, Zach Wilson, like he's on the Zach Wilson trajectory where he's going to get another full season.
He's not the second overall pick. He could be Paxton Lynch.
He might as well be. I mean, first round pick. Like he's not getting
Josh Rosen.
He hasn't been that bad either.
He has.
Like it depends.
I mean,
It
Pat,
depends what
that
he does the rest.
schedule is like
Pat,
you would
touch
be
some
shitting
grass,
on
buddy. Touch some
every
grass.
single
I'm
quarterback.
sorry, he's
going
been
through that.
bad, guys. But he has been bad. Like maybe he could be better against the easier
Is Josh
matchups. But
is Josh Allen going to be the quarterback for the Bills next year after he threw those picks against the Jets?
he's been bad all season. He's never been good.
He hasn't had a chance to be
times.
good.
You
He hasn't had
can't
a
He
chance.
could have. He put up 10 points against the Dolphins. The Dolphins should have been his like game, man. That's perfect. You can think and dunk all day against them.
game in a rookie season.
Put up
that he
10
took over
points.
mid-season.
It's not just one game though. It's every game. He's sucked in every game.
Okay, but you keep going back to that's the game he should have done better in. Like he
Yeah,
had
but he's
one
gonna
bad
flash
game in a
us
spot
anything.
where he should have succeeded. Is what you're
Who's gonna
saying.
ever flash? I mean, you guys are acting like
Yeah,
you play the
toss
Bills
this
every
one
week.
out in your Kenny Pickett bingo
Yeah.
hater card, Pat.
Bring that up.
Yeah.
Well, he is seeming to struggle to get his hands around the ball on the deep throw. I couldn't get enough on it. Oh, what happened? Why?
Well, maybe it was a Pittsburgh thing. You know, they went to Pittsburgh and they drafted him
for sure.
Pittsburgh, and he just needs some more time. You know, rookies, no matter how good they are. I mean, Troy Aikman came in and went 3-13 and got his ass kicked his rookie year with Jimmy Johnson. I mean, I'm just dating myself, but it's hard for rookies to come in and be effective. And even Patrick Mahomes took a year off, right? So everyone,
you nailed it with the Pittsburgh thing. This is like when David Tepper hired Matt Rule because they were both busboys. You know, it's just a ridiculous process. Never
Kenny
should have
Pickett,
drafted him.
I'm with Crakrok. Kenny Pickett is ahead of Patrick Mahomes' schedule.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. I mean, at this point, you might as well just throw him to the wolves and see what he can do. But
Yeah.
Najee hasn't been right since day one. That whole the foot injury was clear. I mean, Warren has
Day one meaning last year.
Since the draft.
And then they trade Claypool. That's weird, man. They're just completely have given up. So they're just,
That's what you do when you believe in your quarterback. You trade away a wide receiver.
I did not expect week 10 of this year to be a Kenny Pickett stand. That's not what I thought.
That is turning me into the biggest bull. I already wrote my newsletter for the Fantasy Life, or my intro for the Fantasy Life newsletter tomorrow, and it's a buy low on the Steelers offense coming out of the buy intro here. So.
Okay. You might want to wait a week. Saints might fuck him up a little.
Well, look at it as like, what was the biggest tout preseason for fantasy football? It was avoid Seattle at all costs.
Yeah, that's right.
Geno Smith fucking sucks. Do not draft DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett, forget about it. And those two guys, DK, and I do have some Geno Smith now, and Lockett, like in the 9th, 10th round, are like saving some of my teams right now. So, I mean, it was like the year before, Jonathan Taylor, it was the biggest Twitter tout in the preseason was, do not draft Taylor, something's wrong. So if you use that, you can use Twitter as the antithesis of what to do to find value. And then, I mean,
are you saying your whole process is just figure out what fantasy analysts are saying and doing the opposite?
Well, no, I'm just saying you can use that to say, all right, these guys are going to get pushed down. DK Metcalf in the 5th round it has the chance. Tyler Lockett in the 8th, 9th, and 10th round has a chance just to, be, decent. So
you kind of are saying that, but you're saying it from a market sentiment and cost adjusted perspective.
Exactly. It's all market. It's just like buying stocks. It's like when someone says, the world is coming to an end and the market's crashing, that's when you have to go in and buy it. And when the world is on top, that's when
we buy crypto.
Now, one thing that I thank God that my company doesn't. When you work for a bank, you can't buy crypto. They don't let you buy crypto. Obviously, they wouldn't know if I did or didn't, but it just reeks of Ponzi right now because all these hedge funds have stuff backed by their own crypto. It's like it just reeks of Madoff here. But I would just, if you wanted.
So that world is actually ending, apparently. Okay.
Well, Jamie Dimon came out and just said that and with Buffett and everyone else, and said it's a total fucking scam. But I believe in it. I just don't know how much it's worth. And what I do know is that these hedge funds that basically went out and said, we'll pay you 20% on if you park your crypto there, that's a red flag. You can't give 20%. That's what people were telling me. Some of my interns came in and said, like, Greg, you got to do it. It's 20%. What are you doing, dude? There's nothing. You're getting 0.1% on your, and I'm like, all right, just go back to trying to find some Twitter hacks and go annoy them. I put $100 bounty if I can get some of them to trigger some of my arch enemies on.
What?
Hey, guys.
You're not doing bids anymore. They're doing bounties. It's a bounty gate. Bounty gate 2.
Well,
All right. Crakrok. Well, speaking of
Wait,
power.
before we move on, can I just put a button on the Pickett thing? Because I just want to say, especially if looking at a schedule again, I wasn't actually trying to not get us to bid on him. He's the best available in these leagues. I just am more pessimistic than you guys, and I'm explaining why. But seeing how he plays the Falcons in week 13, then the Ravens in week 14, then
what do you think we've been fucking talking about?
He gets the Raiders in week 16 and the Ravens again in week 17. That's about as sweet of the schedule as it gets.
This is the choir you are singing to right now, Pat.
Yeah, he does suck. He sucks, and he's gonna suck. And they'll probably
does Jared Goff
next year. But
it doesn't matter.
If you don't have QB upside,
that's a sweet schedule.
If you don't have QB upside and you have a path to getting into the shootout, like, honest to God, Kenny Pickett's a guy to stash, because if he comes, I mean, especially week, like you said, 13, 14, he starts playing well in those matchups, you wouldn't want to start him weeks 15 to 17 during the shootout.
Well, I mean, the Raiders defense, I've been looking at some numbers. They're arguably the worst pass defense in the entire league. Like, that might be the best. That's in the week 16 one. That might be the best matchup on the schedule.
Well, did anyone do a Seattle stack in your best ball stuff and just like go total, opposite and just say, I'm going to go Geno Smith, DK.
My friend Chris Spags has like 15%
He's
Seattle
got it with
sacks. They
Locke.
just happen to be with Drew Lock.
Oh no! Oh,
did he ever hedge that? Because he was so in on Lock, dude.
I think he
And
got
he was
bullied
almost
into
right.
into one hedge.
In fairness, well, I mean, this isn't really in fairness. This isn't rudeness. The whole reason he's doing Seattle stacks is because he's so high on Drew Lock, right? Like,
but he was almost right.
That's even. Well,
Spags, I know you're going to listen to this. I just want to say I love you and you're directionally accurate.
You were directionally accurate. Although, honestly, I don't know if you were, because the whole offense I still think would suck with Locke.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's sort of my point. It's like he was right if he had the right QB, but also the whole play was predicated on the other QB being the guy who unlocked the offense.
It's such a Jet fan. I mean, as a Jet fan, it's unbelievable how these guys leave and just like flourish, and then you see the Geno Smith of.
Do you have any takes on Geno from your Jets days? I mean, the guy got punched by his teammate. No one seemed to care.
Honestly, Geno give that guy credit, man. He looks good. His wheels are moving. He's using his targets. Even Fant got involved. Walker looks like a clear first round pick next year. He screwed all my Penny shares. Who knows what would happen if Penny was still healthy right now? Whether they'd be doing a share there, because Penny was like breaking out, had 170.
He looked great too.
Yeah. So obviously that offensive line is good. Seattle is just playing well, and Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, man, I remember them from the old Jets, and there they are doing great. Geno was the one that we were able to pick up about 15, out of say maybe I got a 15% share of Geno early because I just said get him just because why not?
All right.
So,
Crakrok.
Geno. Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
I understand. We're really burying the lead here. I just got to ask. Is this you at Crakrok or at Robert Kraft's wedding here? I mean, a lot of people have been wondering if this is you.
Yeah, look how good Robert's looking there with his wife, showing all that.
No,
cleavage.
don't distract us from this man over here that looks like a slightly younger Crakrok.
Yeah. that is my younger evil twin brother. He goes by the name of Josh, so that's Josh Crakrok. And
were you at this wedding, Crakrok? Were you at this wedding?
I was not at the wedding. I was not at the wedding.
Did you get an invite?
I did not get an invite.
Did that hurt your feelings?
I knew about it and could have crashed it, but it wasn't worth it due to the security concerns.
Yeah,
I thought you played like pickleball with Kraft's wife.
Yeah, this is a pretty big hit to the mythos that we've been establishing.
Weddings are tough. Weddings are tough. This was also, as they say, concealed. It wasn't reported till late. He wanted to keep it under wraps because it was in New York. So I heard about it because of New York connections. So they wanted to hide the space, and the paparazzi were all on it. And then I found out. And my buddy's like, we can go because there's like there was an after party. So he said, yeah, we can definitely go to the after party. But it was.
You have too much class to crash a wedding.
No, I wanted to go. I just had too much work. I had too much work to do. But the pickleball is pickleball. Yeah, the tennis is true down in Palm Beach.
Now, are you anti pickleball?
No, I love pickleball.
No,
yeah, it's pretty great, huh?
Pat, are you fucking playing pickleball now?
Oh yeah, I'm playing pickleball. We have a standing pickleball on Saturday.
Oh,
we bought it. We just got a net coming. Brent, is the net here yet?
Gretchen and I are out here watching Kenny Pickett film while you're playing pickleball.
No, it's a very.
I don't touch grass, dude. I touch pavement, man. I touch that sweet pickleball pavement.
Hang on, Crakrok. Tell me this. You're an owner of an NFL team having essentially like a shotgun surprise wedding during the NFL season. Is that not the biggest donkey boy move you've ever heard?
It is very donkey like, but Kraft just doesn't care. Kraft just doesn't give a shit. He can be a donkey. He just doesn't care about anything. He just loves going to the games and pumping his fist with his son there. And then when he goes to Palm Beach, he loves showing off his pretty blonde wife of 40 years younger, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, 40 years his senior, yeah.
40 years his senior, 40 years his younger. But he does, and he is happy with the Pats right now. We are happy with Stevenson. That was a nice pick, by the way.
Yeah.
Pat.
Is that a royal we, or is that an actual we? Are you in the?
No, we do have a team that's actually 6-3. That is, we just can't get a friggin' wide receiver. Not because of you guys and the Piss Boys, but Deontay Johnson, we thought we were stealing him. And then Cortland Sutton versus Jerry Jeudy. I mean, what happened to Cortland Sutton and Russell Wilson? This year has been bizarre.
This is our team with Crakrok. 6-3 team here. Crakrok, you're mentioning the Jeudy Sutton stuff. I mean, how are we feeling about this team? This team is pretty good.
Well,
we need Andrews to get right.
We do.
If you have Hurts, you're automatically good. And then we do have the two top five running backs. So it was just like, if Mooney can come back, Ayuk with Debo hurt is good. And then I don't know what the deal is with Cortland, should be killing it. And Jeudy. So, and then we're stacked at, we can't even play Andrews because he's hurt.
Bye week, but yeah.
Oh, it's a bye week too. Yeah. And then Higbee carried us early. It's just, it's thin. We are thin and we don't have a lot of time.
Well, I'm looking at this draft and I'm remembering it. And we had our buddy Frank Moore Cowbell in the 3-hole. He took Gabe Davis 303 in this one. We were kind of joking about that. Took Elijah Moore 503, which those haven't panned out particularly well for Frank, but he has some awesome teams too. But this was a draft where, in part because of that Davis pick at 303, the receivers really started flying off. Jalen Waddle went 307. That's a guy we were taking a lot of the times where we got Sutton and Deontay at the 3-4 turn. We were in the 12 spot. We took Waddle at that 3-4 turn in the 12 spot, and some other drafts are at the 10 spot or 11 spot. He went 307 in this draft.
Imagine if, I mean, injuries he can't help, but if Penny didn't get hurt and was doing what half of Walker's doing right now, he would be. I mean, that would just be. I mean, it would be huge, but obviously you can't complain.
The Penny Walker thing, it's like I'm at peace with it. It was like you wanted to have one of those guys in every draft, and the thesis played out exactly, right? Like, when you, I mean, I don't know what more to say about it than that. Like, you just wanted to have even exposure to both.
He went a little afterwards, but you can see really look at all the receivers after the 10th round, and none of them would have hit.
Oh, it's a disaster.
Oh, no. Speaking of the 10th round, we had a little debate on this draft in the 10th round.
Oh, this was due.
I believe
you're welcome.
I believe you broke the tie for Dawson Knox. How has that been going for us, Crack?
It's been going good now.
Do you know how it's going, Pat or Ben? Well, we have Mark Andrews on bye, and Tyler Higbee had 0 points last week. Dawson Knox, come on down.
He's been playing all the snaps again. But after Crowder got hurt, he's back, baby.
The lack of receiver thing. I mean, there's some weeks we could have played Romeo Dobbs. He's hurt now, obviously. But
so we lost a tiebreaker. Who is? So Lombardi's got 1,300. Fuck.
We'll get there.
So we got to get there on record.
Yeah, that Lombardi time team is not going to get there on record, and it's going to get there on points. We need.
Yeah, so that takes that last number 4 spot.
Yeah, we're fine. Oh no! I'm looking at the wrong team. We're 6-3. We're
6-3. I mean, look at. I mean, half the league is 6-3. Literally half the league. I mean, my God.
Yeah, we just need to win the next 3, and
the fact that we put up, it just shows you that we were deep. We had some depth, and we're able to fill in during the year because we had some injuries.
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't have a tight end starter this week, we'd be screwed.
Dude,
luckily we have Dawson.
You got to get him to lay down for us, dude.
Yeah, we got to
take a dive, Frank. Take a dive.
Is he on here? I mean,
he's got Dulcich. We're screwed.
Relax. Relax. He's rolling out a triple Denver lineup. What could go wrong for our friend Frank? How is Frank, you have to stack this Denver trio with Russell Wilson.
Don't help him.
Don't help him.
Trust me, guys. When this shit implodes, you
Well, was he the one who took Tony and Elijah Moore? I mean, Tony is him and Elijah Moore. I mean, it's just they were going like 4. I mean, like 5, 6. Where? Let's see. Yeah,
so he went Moore, Sky Moore.
He fell on all the grenades for us in this draft.
Thank you for your service.
All of the grenades.
What if Sky Moore's name would just happen to be Sky Less? How much less of him would you have?
Did you write that joke this afternoon, Crakrok, in anticipation of this performance?
I think so, but I mean, in the 6th round, look at that. What did you guys do to that guy? I mean, Jesus Christ.
We psyops Frank. That's what we did.
Oh, I mean, look at that psyops. I mean, that is sick how you guys can go in there and just pierce people's brains and just drill, like, it's like in what was it, Star Trek, when the worm crawls in and Kirk gets, I mean, Timu was so in on. We had so much Sky Moore. I mean, to get him to cut him was like, I literally was like pulling his nails out. He's like, no, he's gonna be good.
Sky Moore, 2 Ys.
That's the fucking sickest name I've ever seen for a wide receiver in my goddamn life.
Oh, let's go.
That is so great. I mean, you drilled that down so hard on so many people. I mean, there it is, the 6th round in a main event over DK Metcalf.
All right, can we move on?
I'm dying.
Metcalf went like 2 rounds
went
before.
around ahead.
What
You had
Don't spread misinformation.
Oh yeah, that is full. That's the wrong way.
He went the 6th round because there were so many receivers off the board already. This was a piss and yellow draft. Look at all those receivers.
Well, that's because you guys are the piss and yellow boys, and you advertise it. By the time I thought we were stealing Darryl Mooney and Ayuk. We had to thank God we took him. But the Jalen Hurts pick, maybe that can carry us, man. He's been so good.
What's interesting about us not having a lot of receivers is I stare at this draft board, that 7-8 turn, you have Hopkins going right after it. You have Olave in that round, who we weren't really on. Lockett was a good pick, another guy we weren't really on. At the 8-9 turn, you have Rondale Moore, Garrett Wilson, guys we probably would have considered, but we would not replace either of our 7-8 turn picks.
Yeah, those are great picks.
There's no possible way we would give up Jalen Hurts or Ramondre to get one of those receivers. We just didn't really hit on the 4 above. We started running back tight end. I don't think we were wrong at 7-8 to go Hurts Stevenson. And at 9-10, there wasn't anything there. Look, after the 10th, after our turn with Knox, I mean, we were talking about Dobbs, but nothing really in the next few rounds. It just got really thin at receiver. It was an avalanche, right?
Guess what? It was thin at receiver. Like the guys that got taken were like, oh no, are not guys that we want, There just weren't that many receivers.
A lot of times our target at that 3-4 turn would have been Waddle. He goes earlier here than he normally did. And then there was that late breaking, Hard Knocks fueled Amon-Ra St. Brown steam to where it still felt like gross taking him at the 3-4 turn there. I think we were probably just slightly ADP anchored as much as we liked Amon-Ra there, that we were just never going to take him at that.
He was a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
Not long before this. He was a 503, 504 pick. And then very late, he was the 3-4 turn. But we probably wasn't in consideration for us at all at this point.
No.
Well, look, I mean, you guys were talking all this Pickett hype. I mean, obviously he's going to be out of the league next year, but Deontay Johnson, the schedule applies to him, as much or more than Kenny Pickett. I mean, dude, Deontay Johnson has a yards per target of 5.0, which is bananas low because his quarterback's terrible. But eventually that will regress to the mean. And he's been targeted on 23% of his routes, is pretty good. He's had a first read target on 21% of his routes, which is a very, very strong mark. The offense is still designed to run through him. He has less target competition now that Claypool's gone.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of really talented receivers that should help keep the chains moving. I think Freiermuth's starting to look like potential stud at tight end.
Yeah.
So I'm still optimistic that they, can have Johnson put up some points for us in the fantasy playoffs here.
And everyone was saying Claypool was great news to unlock Pickett. And my immediate take on that was that ship had kind of already sailed. Pickett was already playing the deep threat role, already had the 13 plus ADOT. Claypool's ADOT, which was 13 plus a couple of years ago, then down to 11 last year, but was still the deep threat. He was still, you talked about this in the offseason, Pat, that even though his ADOT came down to 11 last year, he was still the deep threat, but Roethlisberger just couldn't throw the ball down the field. Right. This year, it dropped even further, and he was the underneath guy. So the targets that are vacated with his trade are more Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth targets than
100%. And I would even say more Freiermuth than Johnson, because he played 76 to date, which includes a little bit of the Bears stuff, but barely. He's played 76% of his snaps in the slot, which is really high. He was a full-time slot receiver. So I think the over middle of the stuff, it'll be good for Johnson because it is some short stuff. But I think Freiermuth, I wish I had more Freiermuth. I think he might take off at the end.
I love this take, though, that Deontay – and what's fun, you mentioned his quarterback's terrible. I mean, Deontay's never had good yards per target, but Kenny Pickett.
He's always had terrible quarterbacks, so that's
it's not
actually
worse than
a
Ben
good argument
Roethlisberger
against-
last year. Is exactly what I was going to say.
He was fairly efficient with like Duck Hodges and Mason
Right.
Rudolph. Like, even though his quarterback is fucking abysmal, he'll still get there.
Yo, Pete, throw that back for a second. If you look
Yeah.
at our wide receivers, it's really been our quarterbacks. It's not the wide receivers that have been the problem. It's been Russell Wilson, the whole Kenny Pickett
Yeah.
disaster.
Mm.
Fields early was just horrible. And San Francisco was the Trey Lance, and now Jimmy
Opium,
G.
yeah.
So that's why when you draft wide receivers, knowing who the quarterback is, but obviously Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I always do that. I really make sure that I know who the quarterbacks are. On all the teams. It's an important part of my process.
Yeah, because otherwise, you could be getting, Kenny Pickett and Geno Smith, or drafting, instead of Geno Smith, going with Drew Lock.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this board too, like I guess, I mean, this was late for DeAndre Hopkins. I'm trying to figure out where could we have scooped up another one. I mean, didn't we take DeAndre Hopkins at like the 6-7 turn in another draft?
We did it. Oh yeah,
we did. We looked at him in those ranges.
Yeah.
7 with Kyler in one league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would have been sweet, but again, the 2 picks there, the Jalen Hurts pick is just the best pick.
It's massive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look, obviously Mark Andrews cooled off a little bit with this injury bye week, but we were looking through teams, I think it was last week too, and there are these teams and you're like, how is this team in first and second place? And then you look and all they have is Josh Allen and Steph Diggs. And like you hit on that one massive thing. I mean, it's not directly correlated, but we hit on Hurts and Mark Andrews. And like, if you could just get 1 or 2 other guys to break out or fill in, like you're a playoff team. Like
Dalvin Cook isn't.
Yeah. And
Dalvin Cook can go on a run. He had a route share in the 50s the first 2 weeks, and then it was down in like the 20s, I think, for 4 straight weeks before the bye. Coming back this past week, it was like 50 something, or 2 weeks ago coming off the bye. And then this past week, it was a season high. It was in the 60s. I can't remember the exact numbers, obviously, because I'm just like throwing the, what do you call those? Anyway. His routes have gone way back up, and they were really low from weeks 3 to week 6, I want to say it is. So, I mean, I think Dalvin Cook could go on a little run here. That'd be nice.
On paper, our starting lineup, when you throw Andrews in there, is sweet. It's just we just got to get that wide receiver production. Luckily, we have 3 number ones. Mooney really isn't a number 1, but
no,
Fields coming alive makes him now alive as well, because Fields has just been and then Debo being hurt, obviously. Ayuk
he's back at practice now.
Still, though, it's with CMC there, it's less coverage on Ayuk. At least he's playing every down. And then I don't know what's going on with Cortland Sutton.
It's been a bummer with Hamler, Watson, and Bell, because we were really excited to get those. I know, Pete, remember you steered us in the direction of those. We were really excited to get those profiles late. None of them have hit. But, Pat, I was going to say, this is the draft. I was joking about our Knox. This was like the draft where we had the biggest disagreements all draft season, because we had the Knox Dobbs. Yeah. But prior to
which
that,
you were obviously right about. I mean, Dobbs gets the ankle sprain, but without that, he was going to crush Knox.
But prior
Dobbs
to
about
that,
to get benched?
Maybe.
I mean,
prior to that,
people
we're
were
not
telling me.
We're
when
not
I wanted
going
to play him in DFS. Was that
prior to that,
had to get benched.
Ramondre Stevenson at 801 was actually kind of high for him in a really wide receiver heavy draft, because Pollard, who typically went like for a while, a couple rounds ahead of him, I think at this time was like typically a 6th round pick, ends up going 804. I wanted our first Pollard share in this draft. This is the one where we went Pollard versus Ramondre. You've definitely won that. The Pollard thing obviously was good for that 1 week as well, but Ramondre has looked like the better pick there. It is interesting, Pete, when you're talking about like Hopkins or some of these other receivers we could have considered there, how late the running backs had gone. I mean, I know it's unlikely Ramondre would have came all the way back, but there's
Olave was there. I mean, that would be,
I know it's just the law of averages and stuff, but I mean, you're looking after round 9. I mean, the amount of hits is just a wasteland.
But there's still a lot of good running backs in that range. Like we probably, if we would have went with a receiver, we went with Ramondre instead of the Knox Dobbs debate. We're probably going running back there. We might have taken Singletary at 9-10 with Penny. Penny goes down, but we would have Devin Singletary. I don't know if that would have been amazing.
When we draft with Crakrok, there's like a 1.5x premium to like content equity when you take tight ends. Like we were.
Yeah. I would raise that number to 1. I say 2 point.
We got to take good tight ends.
Remember, we had to twist his arm about Mark Andrews. We're like, dude, this is Craig and purple. We got to take Mark Andrews.
Well, here, let me defend.
I wanted Joe Mixon though, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
Well,
who remembers?
Mark the clock right once. Yeah.
I just want to defend this the Dawson Knox thing here because. Look who we took right after, Alberto. Now that wasn't me. I wasn't pounding the table for Alberto. I was pounding the table for Tyler Higbee, who has actually been pretty useful a couple rounds later. Alberto, I mean, wow, we probably don't have Dulcich here because of that, guys.
Yeah, that was a little Denver. I mean, Denver, I can't believe what has gone on with Russell Wilson. It's like he just went into slow motion or something.
So I was looking up some numbers today. So he's not running play action at a high rate at all. He's like down in the 25 range in terms of play action rate. But Patrick Mahomes doesn't run a lot of play action. Maybe that's not a big deal. But he's also like around 25 as well in terms of his shotgun snaps, which Mahomes is like third. And like Burrow's fourth. Burrow's not running play action, but he's running out of the shotgun a ton. So this fucking coaching staff in Denver has Russell Wilson just taking like straight dropbacks and not running play action. Like, why run him out of the shotgun if that's what you're going to do?
Yeah, exactly. He should be in shotgun every single time. And how they're not just chucking the ball. I mean, I don't know how many targets Sutton has, but it's got to be on the way, way low. And he just, I mean, obviously he doesn't have the time to get the ball down the field, but you got to just run some plays with him and get him the ball. I mean, they did to Judy, but at least he's a number one guy and he's out there all the time. I mean, the one thing that the Giants guys did tell me is that they're trying to get Kenny G back on the field.
Oh boy, Darius Slayton's their best receiver.
Like as a bit or
best receiver, Pat?
Darius Slayton is their best receiver.
Well,
you're over Wan'Dale Robinson this quickly?
Wan'Dale Robinson has like a 4.5 ADOT and was like a weirdly high second round pick this year. I mean, maybe he will be their best receiver eventually, but Darius Slayton right now is their best receiver.
He actually is. And I asked him, I'm like, why did you trade Tony? And he's like, the coach was like, this guy is gone. Remember when he was hurt and then he had a hamstring, but Tony said he was fine. He was totally fine. The coach was like,
clearly he wasn't on the injury report.
I mean, it was like, no, but the thing was, so I said, well, couldn't you just work it out? And he's like, no, we know we're not winning the Super Bowl this year and we need our players. Whatever D says, they call them whatever D-ball. That's how it goes. He's like, we got plenty of other wide receivers. We're not winning this year. We're just going to give it to Saquon, and see if we can make the playoffs. And their schedule is working out that they could actually make the playoffs. They're just going to ride.
I think they're going to do real well this year. This week, they have a great match.
And they're going to do more of the Daniel Jones shit, where they're going to run him more, like at least once a first or second down, the old fake, because everyone's coming to Saquon now. Instead, they have no other players that they have to now run Daniel Jones as an option. But they said it can work because the defense is playing so well. That rookie who was a returner was on Adoree Jackson, I think is his name. He used to return kicks. He's on the Giants defense. And they just said their defense is real good. So they're just going to play the whole, just like the Jets play this, just dumb down the offense. We're not going to throw it deep, try to roll out and play action stuff, and then just punt. So
what an offense, just punt.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Like, don't let don't let the rookie fuck up, and Zach
Yeah.
Wilson. Look what happened in New England. He threw that interception on the goal line.
Oh yeah.
And the same thing with the Giants. He just said, fuck it. We don't need Tony. I mean, he makes everyone miss. I give you that. But they were like, you don't show up for fucking practice on time, you're gone.
He makes everyone miss, especially GMs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But they totally think they're going to make the playoffs with the schedule. And yeah, maybe Daniel Jones is a worthy if you want some running.
He has the same amount of design rushing attempts as Josh Allen this year, Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and then he said he's bringing back Kenny G. So I'm like, all right.
Can you ask him to go back to the drawing board for some better ideas?
Well, they had trade offers because DJ Moore was being shopped, some other ones, and they're just like, we're not winning this year, guys. We're not winning the Super Bowl. We're not giving up draft picks. We need to save them because they think they need to replace Daniel Jones.
Ooh, you're just breaking some news there. The Giants in the building.
Yeah, they're not high on Daniel Jones. I mean, it's even though they don't have the targets for him, that's not their. So that's another miss. They do.
Now you said you're a Jets fan. Are you trying to spread some misinformation to disrupt the other rival?
No. I'm just saying because I do have a good. I saw the Giants, my Giants friend this weekend. We had dinner, so that is true. The Jets stuff, I love. The Jets the Jets winning, it's like crazy. I mean, that game against the Bills was like the greatest game of all time as the Jets did in 20 years.
You know, one of my favorite things is when you do these really random, obscure trivias on Twitter, and you recently did one, and I got it. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I was stoked about it. I thought through it, and I got it. But most of the time when you do them, I'm like, I have no idea what this could possibly be.
What was it, Ben?
I don't know the exact one. Crakrok will have to correct me, but it was about Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson having the same last name. It was the last QB wide receiver duo to have the same last name to do something. What 100 catch season? I think it was. For the receiver?
Just exactly
100 receptions.
Yeah, Gretchen nailed it.
It took me about 3 or 4 minutes to sit and think through what types of last names, might be viable.
Johnson.
Here.
Because of Johnson something. That's interesting.
All right.
That's right. Pat.
That's it. Who's the Johnson?
Yeah, you got it, Pat. Keyshawn to Brad Johnson.
Oh, don't tell him. He told you.
Oh, come on. That was
I don't know.
awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
I don't know. I would have gotten that.
I know.
He said Johnson, and Crakrok's like, yep, you got all the Johnsons.
You get him. But
All right.
Johnson, but you get all the Johnsons.
I was still on Andre. I was still cycling through the Johnson.
Right.
No, but you were on the
I
right
started on
path.
QBs, Pat, and I got to Johnson, and I was like, Brad Johnson, and then, the Tampa Bay kind of connection.
What do you got here? What you got some new fab? Oh, Traylon Burks.
I don't know if you've ever watched the show, Crakrok, but at the end we show the bids that come in across the leagues. Are you not a fan? I thought you were a fan of the show.
I didn't have the worm crawl in my ear yet.
Yes, Traylon Burks, we dropped the hammer here with the Buckeye.
Nice.
421 bid, 209 second. This Chuba bid, pretty nice, 169, 107. Spiller gets dropped. Flag that, Buckeye Boomers.
Yeah, good call.
Zamir White gets dropped. Also flag that, Buckeye Boomers. Samaje Perine gets dropped. Flag that, Buckeye Boomers. This might be the most running back rich waiver wire we've seen.
And also, Kenny Pickett got dropped. Flag that. That's a
flag that.
No, you don't have to flag that. Don't worry about flagging that.
Wow, no, that's cuff heaven right there. Yeah, everyone's cutting their cuffs.
We dropped Kenny Pickett there, by the way.
Tell the audio listeners don't need to know that. Jermichael Hasty dropped. Buckeye Boomers flag that away for next week.
This is a different team, isn't it?
No,
there. Sky Moore added back Pete Karma for $3.
Yeah, that's our friend. That's a ship
Hasty's
chaser. He
also
still has
available?
the worm. He still has the worm that we drove into his head.
Sorry about the worm there, Peak.
Sorry about it. Bud.
Isaiah Spiller, Samaje Perine, JaMychal Hasty, Zamir White, all cut in the same league in the same
Yeah,
week.
that's
Yeah.
bizarre. That's a bizarre. Is that a main event?
Yeah.
Do we look like guys that are playing FPGs, bud?
I hear you. How are you doing it? How are you guys doing in that 10K?
We're in third. I think we're in third in points.
Nice,
Dude.
Second
It
in
is the-
points, tied for third in record. It's turned around very nicely.
We
We
thought
got two
we
off
were
waivers, man. Save the season.
dusted. What did we lose? We had two big kick in the balls. It was Brees and what was
Brees.
the other one?
Oh,
There was
Lance.
one more.
Lance.
oh,
Lance,
as a
Brees and
Jet
Lance,
fan,
yeah.
as a Jet fan, that was brutal, dude.
It's
I mean,
brutal.
how good?
It's brutal no matter who you root for.
Yeah, it was a Lance Pitts team that is now second in points in a 10K league. I mean, that's tough to do. I have some other Lance Pitts teams that are not doing very well.
Lance
Wow,
Pitts, Brees. I
and-
mean,
Yeah,
When
and Brees.
when did you take? Where'd you get Hall? Fourth, fifth round?
I think it was
I think
fifth.
fourth.
What?
I think it was
Oh,
fourth
that-
because I remember it was the
it was
same
fifth.
structure.
Oh,
was
that
it
was
fifth?
such a good
Yeah.
pick.
Who was our fourth
Damn.
one?
Damn.
Waddle.
He was the
Waddle.
smash.
So now we have the
smasher.
Tua Waddle stack because we got Tua
Oh,
off
that's so
waivers.
sick.
That was a
Nice.
huge turn of events for us to get
Nice.
Tua off waivers.
Well, that's
Better than
cool.
Lance.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean he's been what you would hope, Lance, from a scoring perspective.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, so that 10K is going good. We were in like pretty down spirits there early on, and now it's just like the truth.
Started 1-4,
rally.
4 straight wins. We are the top two teams are 6-3. We're tied for third at 5-4, but we're second in points. Like we still have a shot at the win-loss win.
It doesn't. Do the points work the same as FFPC with points? I mean, best record points.
It's record points.
Oh,
So we are
sweet.
sitting second in points.
Better
in a
for
good
us,
spot.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Oh, well
Yeah.
then, fuck yeah.
Yeah, we're live. We're live, baby.
We are live.
I love that points matter. Like I like that scoring system.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
If you try using the site, it will make your eyes bleed, but the scoring system is pretty cool.
Here's the deal,
It's exciting.
Crakrok. Next year we'll do two NFC 10K drafts in Vegas. We'll do our one with Leone, and then you, who always tease us and say you're going to come out, you finally come out. We do another 10K.
Oh man, that'd be a
Nice.
blast.
Nice. That would be awesome. That would be fucking sweet. So you guys got to come in. How do the playoffs work? What's the deal there? Or is it just points to the end of the year on the 10K?
I think it's just an all play with the 4 and then a head-to-head
is it?
championship. Two rounds, I think. Top 2 teams advance and then 2.
You know, because these aren't tournaments, so sometimes
right.
Mine when I do, they just do 3 weeks all play, and your average of those 14 weeks.
I think it's a 2-week thing. 4 teams make it. 4-week all play. Top 2 scores advance to the championship. So you don't have a head-to-head in the semis. It's a 4-week, 4-team all play. Top 2 advance, and then it's head-to-head in the championship. I believe, based on last year's NFC team. I think that's what we had.
And DeAndre Carter, Jimmy G, Daniel Jones.
Yeah, so this was our
Slayton.
the best wide receiver on the Giants.
Truly,
That's,
honest to God, he is.
I
Maybe-
mean,
maybe
you and
Wando
Pat-
gets his shit together.
Don't
Okay,
you
will
wanna
you book
keep
me
that-
Wandale Robinson versus Darius Slayton fantasy points rest of the season? You can name your price.
oh yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
with Pete on that. I'm
That's-
on Pete's side for
You like
Go
Pete?
ahead,
Now,
name
what do you
your
like,
play.
Pete? Playing time?
No, I want fantasy points. Wandale Robinson versus Darius.
No, I'm asking
Slayton.
Crakrok why he likes your side because of the playing time.
Oh well, playing time. I may not. I won't take that. Fantasy points. I'll give you that. But
What are we doing here? Are we in playing?
This
time?
is a who's on first sketch. Like no one knows who's talking to who.
You guys, it's fine to have hot takes, but Wandale Robinson is the wide receiver you want on the Giants. We can stop with the Darius Slayton. stuff.
No, he's their best wide receiver. Darius Slayton's their best wide receiver.
What do you mean best? Like they get a
He's their
medal
most
for,
talented
like,
wide receiver as we sit here today.
Pat, who is going to score more fantasy points the rest of the season for the Giants?
Let me check the route right because I want to make
Oh,
sure he's not get
stop
better.
hedging. This is such.
Well,
weak
I mean,
sauce.
look, I'm
You
saying
guys-
he's more talented. I don't want to.
Who cares
then
about
make
more
a bet
talented?
that-
We care about fantasy points. That's literally all we care about.
Yeah, well, talent has a plays into that. So I just want to see what the route was.
Bet me whatever you want. Wando Robinson versus Darius Slayton.
Do you think the Jets and Giants are both going to make the playoffs? Imagine that. And that's another thing. Everyone tries to predict what teams are going to be good. Yeah, good luck with that.
Crakrok, I got to correct this. I completely lied to you. It is what you said. It's just like the shootout in FFPC. It's a week 15, 16, 17 scoring total. That's what we had last year in the NFC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you carry your average and then you have 3 weeks.
That's usually what they do.
Yeah.
But
our team was so good last year that we weren't having to sweat any of the money.
Right. You were just like, whatever. You were just like, whatever. But
I'll book you 100 on the Slayton bet.
All right. Deal.
Who
point PPR?
I'll take 50 of that, Pete. If you want
You're trying to you're in a fucking New York City penthouse and you're trying to take $50 of my bet? I'll give you $10 of it. I'll give you
that is a little bit of an oxymoron, right?
You're getting invited to Robert Kraft's wedding's after party, and you're trying to scratch 50 bucks.
I thought you wanted to lay it off. You were being a bookie.
No, I wanted as much as I could get.
They're the same route rate last year, basically, or last week. So just don't need Galladay. When Galladay comes back, he has to cuck Marcus Johnson. And
where do you think Galladay is going to be playing when he comes back? You think he's stealing slot snaps?
I think he's probably going to steal Slayton's routes, which is why I didn't want to make the bet. But I figured it would be too good. It'd be too good if Slayton did it.
When you see Galladay go off, you'll come back.
Galladay's dust. I'll be okay.
They have so much money in him. They were just like, you're getting back on the field. Because he knows they can make the playoffs. As scary as it sounds, the Jets and Giants, they looked at the schedule. The Giants' schedule is not that hard because they got Washington twice, which is kind of easy. And again, they have Saquon. So the Giants.
Darius Slayton has the same target rate as Wando Robinson with an ADOT that's 3 times higher. He actually provides value to the Giants. They're nuts if they don't play him, which they won't because they're going to play Kenny Galladay instead.
Crakrok, how's the dispensary doing? Do you know where it is?
Yeah, it is in Northampton, Massachusetts. Turning Leaf. Everyone loved that. Everything, the new flavors. The new thing is they're going to make like the spiked iced seltzers. They're going to make with.
Wait, is this it?
Yeah, there it is.
Wait, are you a wine?
Yeah, we have as I said, you have no. That's
this is Vineyards Modesto, California.
Yeah, that's it. That's my website, California on the bottom.
Look at this fucking guy.
Crakrok, you gotta talk to your accountant, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Turning Leaf Dental.
No.
You need to work on your
cannabis
SEO,
right there,
man.
4th one. Yeah, there it is.
Holy shit! Who did your website?
You mean on the Google search bar? Yeah, you got to pay for that to get the top list.
No. We're now on the website. We're looking at this. Who designed your website? This is slick. This is like an immersive experience.
Yeah, view the film. Go to the menu and let's pick out something. What are you thinking about?
You got glassware, 30% off on all glassware right now. Did you know about this deal?
If you walk in,
a 14 millimeter male banger.
What?
Oh, that's the upside down. Yeah, that's some sweet.
Familiar.
What is this? What is this photo?
Remember like the gas mask that draft pick wore at the draft?
Tunzel, you need a better photographer here.
Yeah, whatever happened, he got drafted, right? He turned out to be good.
That's a nice Rasta.
Finger. Look at that. That's pretty, man. Do you want me to pick you up one of those?
I would love, how do you
getting familiarized with his own offerings. Oh yeah, that's great. I like that.
Crakrok, how do you not have a branded Crakrok thing in here yet?
Yeah, because the people in Massachusetts, I got to bring my brand to Massachusetts. I may have to move up there.
What's your favorite thing in the store?
Some of the edibles, the yeah, go to the edibles. Yeah, some of those milk chocolates. You can't go wrong with those.
Bedtime Betty's nighttime fruit juice. Sounds like something for 80-year-old women. Crakrok.
The fruit, yeah. Well, you take 100 milligrams, you'll feel like an 80-year-old woman.
That's a promise.
that I can guarantee you. 100 mgs will treat you right. Did
Grapefruit hibiscus seltzer. You crazy?
This is what I'm talking about.
That's
nice.
great after
Look
game
at
of
me
pickleball.
drilling down. Look at that. I should have you as my marketing fucking guy.
Yeah, please, dude.
Your grandma's grapefruit. Are grandmas in all of the advertising?
PB and MJ milk chocolate bar.
Oh, I haven't had that yet. That yet. I just go for the straight chocolate. Sometimes they have the Nestle Crisp version.
Can I have a question about who does your copywriting?
No idea.
So I'm wondering, there hasn't been a more iconic duo since sliced bread. How is sliced bread a duo?
Well,
The slicing is the slicing the other
peanut
part.
butter and jelly.
No, I get that, but they're implying that sliced bread is a duo.
It is bread and a slicer.
That needs to be edited.
Slices of
The
bread.
slicer's the other part of the duo.
Crakrok, I will charge you like only $420 an hour to be your lead copywriter for this.
Whoever wrote this
Was fucking
crying the
tripping balls.
PB and MJ milk chocolate bar.
Sliced bread. What the fuck?
When you guys went to Vegas, did you hit the dispensaries at all?
We did this time. We almost always do. I didn't this time.
No, we didn't. But I don't know if you know Crakrok, but when we're there, we're kind of on like a covert psyops mission to put little worms in all of the drafters' brains.
Lots of
around
drafters,
Skymore.
It's a business trip. I don't know if you've ever seen this in the draft room, but we're wearing suits. It's a business trip.
We got a bucket full of worms.
We saw more cowbell took Skymore in what was it, the 6th round?
We had a DK Metcalf. I know that.
Yeah.
6th round. That has to be the all-time high. For I mean, the 6th round. I mean, that is unbelievable. So you're telling me you don't have any influence over those the masses?
No.
Frank is an independent, autonomous man. I mean, he's not getting brainwashed by us. He's doing what he wants out there.
But somehow he got into both of our drafts 2 years in a row running. How is that even possible? What are the odds of that? You think he requests? He like calls into FF?
He might be.
I think he likes to draft in the evenings, and we do for our shows, and so that there's some overlap there.
I was rooting for your Mariners this year, Gretsch. Did you go to that game, that 18-inning game?
I did. It was an exhausting experience. I saw something during the World Series. One of the fans on one of the teams tweeted about how like hard it is to be a fan of a World Series. Like it's just constant stress for like a week straight. Like they had forgotten how hard it was or something. I don't know. I was like, that's how I felt. Like I haven't had a team play playoff baseball in 20 years. I was stressed out for that like whole from the start of the Blue Jays series and really the lead up into the playoffs, knowing they were finally going to make it through when they lost out. It's not like I was glad they lost out, but at the same time I was like, God, at least I can like not think about baseball for the next like couple of days. I mean, that game, 18 innings, 0-0, it was insane. It was a crazy atmosphere. Everyone was on their feet for freaking 6 hours.
Well, the Astros deserved it. They were freaking awesome.
No, they didn't. We should have beat them. Don't say that. They beat us.
Yeah, well, I was a Met fan. I mean, San Diego was in it. It was I think you're going to see some wild stuff in the NFL this year too. With like Seattle is good.
The NFC is weak. A team like Seattle can make a run. It would be not that surprising. I mean, you got the Eagles. You don't got a lot else.
I looked at their schedule. I could easily see the Eagles running for 16-0. Have you seen the schedule? Can you pull that up, Pete?
I only have my main bookmark is the Steelers schedule. You want me to navigate over to?
No, I was just. This was on the lunchtime. This was the lunchtime chat that I've taken. I've now gotten odds on Eagles going undefeated. I wonder if the bookies have that. But I looked, all the quarterbacks they play for the rest of the season are terrible. I mean, they are looking at a 16-0 season unless they just completely choke.
Ellinger, Aaron Rodgers, Malik Willis, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Dak Prescott, Andy Dalton / Taysom Hill, Daniel Jones again.
And you started. You missed the Commanders, Heineke, at the top.
Well, it's going to be Sam Howell by then, so I didn't feel comfortable.
So what
saying
What team are they the underdogs in?
They're going to lose this game on the road. Wan'Dale Robinson's going to go 9 for 150.
To the house.
Oh my God!
What a catch! What a catch, Darius Slayton!
Tell me who's going to beat them? The Cowboys at home.
At the Cowboys is a tough
Cowboys
game.
could beat them.
Don't let Justin Fields get hot, Crakrok.
Oh, come on!
Don't
Stop that!
Don't let Justin Fields get hot.
What odds? What odds will you guys give me on Eagles undefeated?
What is it on the books?
I don't know. Let's. I have that. You guys want to go on a bet? I'll give you a free ride on. Let's.
You do a negative free roll.
There you go. They got it in the chat. It's 11
a negative free roll for a pre-roll.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah, if not, you get that snappy glassware that you saw at the head shop.
All right, deal on that one.
11-1 to be undefeated in the regular season.
11-1 All right, so 10 to all right. 11.
This is a horrible negative free roll for you.
Well, 10-1, 11-1. That sounds right. The odds aren't great. I think I deserve more than that. But let's just look at the games. The Colts are terrible. The Packers are terrible. The Titans don't even.
We're all on board with those first three. This is a dicey stretch here.
They get the Commanders this week. You guys keep missing that. It's on the row up above. That's the first one.
We're ignoring it.
I didn't even see that.
We're on to Indianapolis.
Yeah, Indianapolis. The only thing is the Cowboys, and I still don't see it happening.
The Cowboys can beat them.
Derrick Henry can beat them. Derrick Henry, their rush D did not look good.
Their rush D sucks.
Without Jordan Davis. Sucks. Yeah.
No, they don't throw the ball at all. They just run. What is it going to be? Cadillac Williams? Just.
Are you familiar with Derrick Henry?
Oh, I love King Henry more than anyone.
He was on our first ever team we drafted. What was it? Eckler Henry start?
Yeah, I mean those drafters. I think I got him in like mid-second round later in the year. He was a guy who was just people didn't want any part of.
A lot of people forget that we have the only Justin Jefferson, Derrick Henry team in the entire main event. Crakrok. People forget that.
Right.
Yeah.
What will the line be when they travel to Chicago? They'll be favored by less than a touchdown, right?
Yeah, they'll be like 4 or 5 point
I would
road
say
favorites.
7 or 8.
You think?
I don't know. Maybe that's too aggressive. If they're undefeated at that point,
it's a touchdown. It's a touchdown.
A touchdown. Yeah. I guess Fields.
It depends on how much Fields heats up.
Yeah,
it does.
They'll make it 6.5 if Fields is hotter 5. If not,
yeah, that feels right.
But honestly, that unless you believe in the Cowboys, and I know the Giants are a farce, there's no one who's going to. Are they going to? And they're going to be favored in that Cowboys game, aren't they?
That'll be less than a field goal, though, right? That's like 2.5, because it's at Dallas.
Oh, that's Christmas Eve. Imagine
Does that change things for you.
They'll go in there 13-0. Oh wait, it's 7.
Honestly, if Zeke is hurt for that game, the Cowboys will win. If Zeke's healthy, they're getting fucking roasted.
I love that.
I don't know. I look at that schedule and I see not even a competitive game if Jalen Hurts plays even.
Here's
close
the question: What if the Giants are playing for a playoff spot January 8th and the Eagles are 16-0?
No, they'll go for the end. Don't you think?
They'll go
Well,
for
they also
the-
have Minshew. Minshew's a hell of a backup. Minshew might be as good as Daniel Jones.
Oh, you mean? Oh, that is true, Gretch. They could be playing a meaningless and have everything locked up, but then
And the Giants, it could be meaningful for the Giants based on how good their record is already.
But an undefeated but it's 17. It's 17 games. Keep forgetting it's 17 games. But yeah, they would want that undefeated season.
You'd have to think, right?
Yeah, you got to go for it. That looks pretty good. All right, I'll put in $100. I just put it in.
All right.
So 11-1.
I got 10-1 on my book.
Okay.
All right. So there we go.
I want to watch this and I want to get your thoughts on this guy, Crakrok.
Here's the deal. Everybody talks about I'm completely comfortable in who I am as a man, bro. I know I can lead men. I know the game of football and I'm passionate about it. I have no fear about, are you as qualified as somebody else, bro? I spent 14 years in a locker room. I went to playoffs 12 times. I got 5 dudes in the Hall of Fame that I play with. You don't think I've seen greatness? You don't think I've seen how people prepare, how they coach, how they GM, how they work? I mean, won Super Bowls, been to 2. Like, here's the deal, man. None of us are promised a good job. I may be terrible at this. And after 8 games, I'll say, God bless you. I am no good. I may be really good at it. I got no idea, but I dang sure ain't going to back down. I can tell you that.
That's unbelievable. Hey, man, he's right. He might be terrible at it.
That took a turn because he was so confident. He's like, I might fucking suck.
Oh, yeah, it's just like, boom. He just completely changed it. He's just like
5 dudes in the Hall of Fame that I play with. You don't think I've seen
Hall of
greatness?
Fame.
You don't think I've seen how people prepare, how they coach, how they GM, how they work? I mean, won Super Bowls, been to 2. Like, here's the deal, man. None of us are promised a good job. I may be terrible at this. And after 8 games, I'll say, God bless you. I am.
God bless you. It actually makes me feel like he might be okay. Like the fact that he was just like, I mean, but to be honest, I could be horrible at this.
Yeah, I mean, another time the number 1 pick bust. Taylor just a complete bust. I don't know what's going on with the Colts. Pittman's been a bust. I don't know if there's anything saving that team.
Saturday needs to play for him is what needs to happen.
Yeah, player coach. That would be incredible.
That's how he says it.
Oh my goodness. So what's your take on this situation, Crakrok? Is this a Ted Lasso fall guy situation, or is Jim Irsay? You're an owner, you're a rich owner whisperer. What's in Jim Irsay's head right now?
He just couldn't watch it anymore. It was sickening to him. It just made him nauseous.
I love it.
When he saw the performance on the field and all the money he was paying for it, he's just like, you're done. Next, let's get the old center back in there and let him rile him up and just push the pile forward for Taylor and just push the pile. What happened to that? What happened to the old, Taylor and 4 yards in a cloud of dust? That's what they did last year. And then they just said, we're bringing in Matt Ryan and we're going to throw every down and play action to Hines. Didn't make any sense. But I can tell you one owner who's very happy that I was in touch with, and that's the Vikings.
How many owners are you in touch with?
They are pumped right now. They are.
Why are they pumped about this?
Because they have a 4-game lead and it's only 8 games have been played. I mean, think of.
Oh, you're saying they're pumped? I thought they were pumped about the Saturday hire.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I'm saying the opposite of the Irsay, who's so sad, is the Vikings. They 4-game lead after 8 games. I don't think has ever been done before. I mean, statistically, that NFC, Green Bay, Bears, maybe the Bears get good, and they're already clinching, and they're pumped on Cousins. They signed him, and they got Cook and Jefferson And then that's why they went and said, we got a chance this year. And they went out and got Hawkinson. I mean, that was a bizarre trade, but they were like, we have a chance to do it this year. Because no one used to trade back in the days, but now you can get away with a few trades. Everyone
Colts are second in the division. They're only 2 games back of the Titans. I mean, they can win their division.
No, they can't. Ellinger blows. You want to talk about a guy who definitely sucks on a small sample.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, the team sucks. I'm just saying it's not like the Titans aren't a good team right ahead of them. And so
Gretsch has the Titans beating the Eagles, but also losing the division.
Also losing to the fucking Sam Ellinger Colts. Do we get Matt Ryan back now? Is that like what happens there?
No.
Saturday
You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube.
You can if you fire the coach, right?
But Irsay's pulling all the strings, and he pulled the Ellinger string too.
I know, but he was like, that was a bad string. I'll pull this other string, and then maybe I can undo that first string pull.
If Crakrok's thesis is correct that he hated what he was watching, I don't know why Matt Ryan's going back out there.
No,
Sam Ellinger was the quarterback last week, and he was fucking horrible.
It's a tough matchup, Pat. Just let him get a nice matchup.
Again, that you need Saturday to block, man. When you don't have an offensive line,
you do.
And that's why they should have Wilson in the shotgun, as you said, with Russell Wilson. Why is he taking it?
I don't know, man.
I mean, when Denver started out, there were like 3 times on the goal line where like Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams fumbled and they couldn't get in from the one. It was so bizarre what's going on in Denver. I hope they get it straightened out, because if they do, our team has got a chance to get through. I mean, because I think Mooney has live action now with Fields. I mean, did you see that game that Fields put up? 180 yards rushing. I mean, that's got to. I got to look up for the most rushing yards in the game by a quarterback, but that's got to be up there, like Michael Vick.
It is actually as up there as it can get. Crakrok, that was the most rushing yards by a quarterback.
I didn't even read that. It was the most rushing yards.
Yeah, look it up.
I wonder who second was. I wonder who he beat then.
I think it was Michael Vick.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there you go. See, I know it. I don't need to read those things. I know them. So, yeah, I just told myself a fact. But that was
told myself a fact.
But that was pretty impressive. I mean, do you have any Justin Fields? Did you hold them on any of your teams?
Let's not talk
redacted.
About it.
We got some redacted, I think.
I mean,
I did try to remember. I think I got to look at Hassan. Hassan shot me down hard in Penta. I floated Fields there, and he's like, "What's the fucking point?"
He called him Justin Shits, I think was his nickname.
He said Justin Shits, yeah.
When I see him and Hurts play, they're like the same exact player. But Hurts has such good weapons with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Goddard and Sanders. All these running backs that no one wanted, Jacobs and Sanders, turned out to be – those were the steals of the draft.
Sanders blew it, man. Sanders didn't even know. Sanders was like, don't draft me.
Right? I mean, Jacobs and the Sanders in like the 7th, 8th round, it has got to be – those are the steals this year, right? Jacobs is the steal. I mean, who is the biggest steal of this season? It's got to be Jacobs.
Kevin Tompkins has got you, but he's got a suggestion for your dispensary.
Oh, he can do a better byline with peanut butter and jelly?
He's got a new strain for you. Can you pull it up, Pete?
Who? Oh, yeah.
Kevin.
The next strain is the Justin Fields. Can't get any higher.
I like that.
I like that. Fields of Dreams.
Fields of Dreams.
I mean, but do you remember, just turn the clock back like 4 weeks ago. He literally had like 0 points, I think, in one game where they couldn't even throw the ball. And Darryl Mooney didn't have a target for like 4 weeks.
Darryl Mooney sucks, dude. Darnold.
Pat, is there a single player you like in the NFL?
I like Darnell Mooney.
You like
I am
Darius
not a Darryl
Slayton
Mooney fan.
and Darnell Mooney? Those are your 2 favorite players?
Darryl Mooney works at Burger King down the street.
He said Darryl Mooney. I'm just laughing at Darryl Mooney. Jesus.
He plays
Sorry.
Moneyball, man.
I fucking touted Darius Slayton. It made you as angry as I've ever seen you. What?
Oh,
What?
yeah, right.
You're out of Wonder Robinson.
You were being hyperbolic, and I had to
I
get you to
wasn't.
walk it back.
I think he's.
Yeah.
I made the bet with you. I think he's the best wide receiver.
Not without checking a myriad of stats.
Well,
that you have access
I had to make sure he wasn't going to get benched, and I didn't want to look like an asshole.
No, he's not getting benched. They traded Tony, so I don't know if he's going to get any targets in KC, but that doesn't help the Sky Moore situation.
Nothing helps the Sky Moore situation. That's an 8-leg parlay away from hitting.
Yeah, 2 years will help.
Well, that was another steal. Was McCall Hardman? All day in like the 17th, 18th round, there was a wide receiver who's having a pretty solid year.
I hate to say it, but I prefer Mecole Hardman in best ball still. I'm going to say it.
Well,
You going to know when to start Mecole Hardman, Crakrok, with Kadarius Toney now in the mix?
You think Tony has a chance to actually have a season now?
I do. Why not?
How are those? How's that big contest, that $2 million best ball going? Who's leading that right now? What are the?
I got
standout players. Got to be.
I got a team in the top 500, but the police they're watching. I don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about it. It may or may not be a 6-0 RB team with Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce, and Tua and Tyreek, and
That's the whole screen is falling.
you better not talk about the structure, man. They really will get you for that.
yeah, God, they come for you, Crakrok.
Oh,
We're not allowed to. We're not allowed to talk about our best ball teams, Crakrok. You're trying to get me arrested.
Okay, is that from the NFL YouTube police? Or have they come yet?
No, it's just the big best ball. They try to get you to talk about your teams all season long, but no one wants to hear you talk about your own best ball teams. It's just kind of a fact of life, and so the police kind of really crack down on it.
Yeah,
I heard that. Right.
What? Hang on, we'll indulge you, Crack. What is your best team? What is the team you're most excited about across your portfolio right now?
Well, honestly, with the way the playoffs work, you never know because that 3 weeks, run. I'm just looking at right now. I'm like a little over 50% win rate or getting to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 1 out of 12 teams. So that's I'm winning there. So you just got to get your ticket into the playoffs.
Half of your teams are in position to make the playoffs right now. Over 50%
right now, of all the leagues I'm in, I'm through in over 50%.
Wow.
In what?
Nice.
33% baseline, right? Yeah. Or 12?
Well, 1 out of 12 is not. 4 teams make it. Yeah. So
yeah,
make the playoffs. So yeah. So
yeah. So you're above baseline.
Yeah. And that's what you got to do because the playoffs, it gets wonky. Those 3 weeks, you don't know who's gonna hit. All you need are those 200 plus games. Last year it was Cincinnati, right? All the Cincinnati stacks went because they scored like 50 points in 2 straight games. So it was Higgins, Chase, and Burrow and Mixon that won it for you. Who knows who it's going to be this 3 weeks? So all I care about is just punch my ticket in and just get me another chance at that.
Crakrok's an advance rate guy. He's not looking at the matchups. He's not getting ahead of himself. He's not a week 17 correlation.
Oh no, you guys do that, and it blows my mind.
It was part of the worms we put in people's heads. It was week 17 matchups. Sky Moore. Ronald Jones.
It's all 15 through 17. You know who gets hot, and you know what teams are going to be, what players are going to do it.
That's why your Russell Wilson teams are dead if you don't have Sky Moore.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
and your Nyheim Hines teams are dead if you don't have Tyler Boyd. Crakrok, how many of the week 17 matchups do you think you could name right now?
Well, I think you showed me that you just showed me the Philly Giants game.
That's week 18. You're close.
That's week 18.
Oh, it was week 18. You guys got me.
Yeah. No, it's your Michael
How many
Thomas.
how many
Kenneth
could you
Gainwell
name,
teams.
Pete? Because my memory's a little wiped on it.
There are a couple little crevices in there. I could probably still do like 12 or 13. Like if you give me a team, I can tell you.
Isn't it Rams Chargers against each other?
Yeah.
That was the hot
that's-
one that everyone
that's
was
a hot
excited
one.
about. Well, the Denver
Seahawks,
KC
Jets.
one is the one that has gone.
I did have Seahawks Jets stacks. Crakrok.
Yeah,
I asked that
it's
earlier. I
Eagles
didn't have
Saints, right?
ton of
Eagles
teams.
Yeah,
Saints.
Eagles Saints. Yeah, the Houston Jags was the like toilet bowl one
that's a
everyone was
toilet bowl.
excited about. Detroit Chicago could actually be nice now.
What's the Giant? Who do the Giants play?
Yeah, Detroit, Chicago actually could be that.
That's a good one.
Is that in Detroit? Because it's always better.
I actually don't know. My superpowers do not extend to who is home.
I am looking at the Eagles. I'll tell you that right now, the Eagles' schedule is they are going to go 17-0, or they're going to make a run for it.
Did you watch them against the Texans on Thursday night? They looked a little vulnerable.
Well, one, they're playing on Thursday. You know, players don't even try on Thursday. I mean, they barely care about that game. They just want to get to the bye week. And so when they win that game, that's why you never want to play players on Thursday night. If you have a choice, if you're like in between like someone Sunday who's like equal, always go with the Sunday guy. Because players are fucking tired. They hate fucking Thursday night. They curse Thursday night games because they're so sore, especially if you play on Monday night. But where was I?
The Lions are at home against the Bears. Week 17.
Sounds like someone's been enjoying their own supply. I think.
There you go. So the Lions are home. So that game, that game against Chicago is going to be live because anytime you're indoors in Detroit, you can have
that game's going to be hot.
Yeah.
That's going to be
I pulled up the schedule, Pete. I got a few more for you. Bills.
The Bills play Cincinnati. Of
Bengals,
course.
yeah.
49ers.
Yeah,
49ers are Raiders because that was all my Waller Kittle team.
Yeah, but that
Eagles.
Yeah. Saints.
The Eagles are Saints. We just did that one. Yeah.
The Bills Cincinnati is outdoors.
Chiefs is Denver. The big flop.
Broncos got a lot of that one.
That's going to be a cold game. That's
the Bucs is Panthers. Yeah.
That Detroit Chicago game.
Packers.
The Packers are versus fuck.
I mean, are they
Minnesota?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
The division.
Did you guys ever get the Giants? You asked the Giants.
Yeah.
They put in the chat the Colts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Colts.
Patriots.
Patriots are.
Oh, that was a backdoor
Dolphins.
one.
Dolphins.
Oh,
that
man.
was. I remember the Tua Ramondre teams.
Yeah.
Is that in Miami? If that's in Miami, that's good.
I don't know where it is.
I think he said
because New England and Buffalo in December. That does. New England and Buffalo is that Cincinnati Buffalo game. That's not a 40-30 game.
No, and I was worried about that one just because like being cold weather outdoor, like that one had flop potential.
That.
I think this is the last one. Commanders.
Oh shit. Commanders play. Oh fuck! It's another shitty, boring team. Browns.
Yeah,
Oh, nice, dude.
It remembers like the worst game. Not even one of the bad games anyone talked about. I never would have got that.
The reason I remember that one is because I remember vividly in one of my morning chats being like, "What do you guys think is the least stacked game for Week 17? Like the most boring one?" And everyone's always like, "Washington, Cleveland is by far the most boring."
Well, it's going to be Deshaun to Cooper then.
I know it's probably actually not going to be bad.
Cooper's actually a guy I feel like we were too low on, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's not even like that crazy of a thesis that played out. He just has all the targets. Everyone else sucks. And then he's going to get Watson.
You have when I would draft Cooper, he would freak out. He literally, his head would explode. He'd be like, "You're taking this guy. He's so done."
You could have taken Sky.
He could have, and I was getting Cooper. He kept dropping and dropping and dropping. And I was like, you just got to take him because he's the number one. But when Deshaun comes back, and Nick Chubb, and that team's going to be sick, dude. I mean, why is no one – have you been trying to even put Deshaun on your roster for late in that playoff season? He could be someone who could steal a championship for somebody.
I was floating him before the bye weeks. It was a little too early, and then he got scooped up during the bye weeks. I don't think we have a ton of them. I have a couple shares.
What do you think is going to happen there when he comes back? I mean, Brisket is playing so well.
They're going to be very good.
They're going to play Watson.
No, I know. I know they're going to play Watson. I'm just saying
controversy in Cleveland.
I'm like, how much better they could be a lot better. I mean, they could
play Watson.
They're going to be good. They're going to be good. All right, Crakrok.
All right, bros.
It's always wonderful having you swing by. I feel like you're slightly less faded than you normally are when you come on here.
You didn't do the walrus.
Oh no, I'm in the other room. We have to save the walrus.
How's your on a serious note? How's your dad doing?
Not good, but we're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying.
You seeing him still a lot going out there?
Yeah. Thanks for asking, though. Thanks for asking. It's just sometimes you just gotta forget about work and other shit sometimes and just reach out to your parents, your siblings, whoever out there, and just know and give them a hand. Give them some support. So that's what I do. Yeah. It's just it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's been tough. Thanks for asking though. That's very cool.
No, I remember when you're on the show last time and you were out at your place and taking care of them. So I know how that goes at least with my grandparents too, who are getting up there, and how much work and care and time it takes. And it's like, it's draining too. You don't want to feel selfish, but it's a lot to put on.
Yeah, because they're so stubborn. Yeah. They're just so set in their ways on certain stuff. And you're just like, but this is a smarter way. And they're like, yeah, I know. Okay, but just get me the New York Post. All right. Well, I'm really pumped though for some Vegas next year and some of those 10Ks. And you know what? I'm going to add another C note onto that Philly undefeated season.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good because that's up to 2K. So that'll ensure us another main event for next year as well. So that'll go right to the main event.
You got to start booking this now because it's back-to-back years, Crakrok. You've been on the fence, and then it never happened. So I'm putting it on record now.
I hear you. It was just there was no way I could do it. As you said, I was caring for, but Vegas looked like so much fun. I miss it so bad. I mean, there's no funner place, and plus, there's the dispensaries out there are great. We'll go hit them up and we'll see if who can handle 100 milligrams.
We'll do a dispensary copywriting field trip. We'll kind of go see how they all position their various products.
Yeah, I would like. Yeah, I would. That would be a fun field trip. And let's make that part of the field trip.
All right, market research.
That's fun. All right, guys. Appreciate you hanging out. Enjoying reviewing these main event teams, even when it's painful to look back at some of the draft boards. Hope you guys do well in week 10 for Gretsch, for Karain, for Crakrok. I'm Pete. We'll see you guys next week.